Hey, Gloucester Township. I'm Joe Allen. That's Keith Gibbons.
How's it going?
This is our GT Observer podcast. Man, kicking off December with this one.
Yep, just after Thanksgiving. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving with family and friends and loved ones.
Travel at all?
I traveled all the way over to Delran.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a big
Maryland
big hike
for me. So.
Maryland, okay.
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. A little down and back. So it's sometimes it's kind of nice when you're like, I got a long trip ahead. Gotta head out. So you know,
yeah,
it's better than inviting a bunch of people over your house and then you're just like, it's over. Go.
I saw this a picture somebody had like a party going on and they got those balloons that you spell things out with, and so what they spelled out with the balloons was leave by 9. Yeah.
We had a good time. We had a good time. A little standard.
Good deal.
Standard dinner. Nothing crazy.
Yeah, so today's podcast, we're going to be recapping the November 29th council meeting. There was a police ceremony ahead of time where they were, and I was going to say indicting, they're inducting new police officers, and they were promoting others, or memorializing the promotions that they got, that they had a ceremony for. So that went on in the beginning. We did get one interesting clip out of that I wanted to share, and I thought it was pretty funny.
I have to tell you, I sleep well at night.
So yeah, that he was in reference to like the sewer and selling the sewer out from out of under you. That's what his response was like. So Dave, what do you think about it?
I have to tell you, I sleep well at night.
But anyway, yeah. So congratulations to those police officers, and so after that, I guess there's some kind of a recreation grant that they did a straw poll to see if they were going to get that grant. We love getting grants. We talked about this before.
It's almost free money.
Yeah,
but not quite.
But part of that, there was an opioid grant and part of a youth leadership grant too. So the opioid grant will come up a little bit later on. It's a couple clips away here, but first we started off with people just asking about agenda items, and David Leader started us off here.
Use a table like will help me too.
Sure, absolutely.
Doesn't have a lectern, so
the the table was where he went because he's been offered to use that table in the past. The lectern, from LecternGate, there's nowhere to be found, so he had to put his papers down there. But one of the things that he was asking about was this opioid grant that we were getting. There's something with drug analyzers. So I have another clip here for this one.
So this is law enforcement equipment and services for $110,594. It's through Thermo Scientific Portable Analytical Instruments. Chief,
So these are devices, handheld devices that detect on patrol. In the past, we used to have these little test vial kits. We did what was called a field test. You put the substance in and you would crack it, would turn a color, and it would tell you what kind of narcotic. With the dangers of fentanyl, that has stopped. So technology as it's gone, they developed a way of an analyzer. It uses light. The technology is state of the art, and it's able to analyze what the substance is through the glassine bag, which allows us then to properly charge somebody at the time that we recover the narcotics. This technology became available to us. We'd like to utilize to obtain 3 of those. They're approximately $38,000 a piece. It's on New Jersey state contract.
So yeah, I cut that clip up and made it shorter because it was an extensively long explanation given. So that was the gist of everything that was stated there. Basically, there are roughly $40,000 pieces of equipment that will help us know what the drugs are without having the risks, of being in contact with fentanyl, which I guess could kill you.
I mean, the old way that the chief was talking about was the way that I'm a big fan of On Patrol Live. Like Friday and Saturday nights, I watch it.
Okay.
So they put the gloves on, take the chemical out, whatever it is they find in the car,
Right.
drop it in a bag, change it a certain color that tells them what it is. That was the only way that I knew that you could actually do this. I've never seen this new machine used in any police departments that are like on TV at least. So.
Well, I have like you. I enjoy. There's one of these shows that's on the like border crossings, or people are bringing things over the border, and they have one of those analyzer machines on there. So I was familiar with what they were talking about from that, but it's not that you can't determine what it is there, and there's nothing saying that you can't. Let the person know that that there's a you're being charged. We don't know exactly what it was for, but you're being charged for a a substance. There's nothing that says you can't do that. It doesn't say you have to spend 150 grand or 120 grand on analyzers. But there is a grant for it, so we're getting it.
Oh, there's a grant. Okay,
that's part of that opioid grant that we're talking about because it's part of it's an allowed expense, I guess you call it, or whatever. You're able to spend the money on that. All right, so then we went into the eGov section where people send questions in. Council reads a question and answers, and here we go. There was a interesting one from a somewhat historic event that happened last meeting.
Our next eGov is from Albert Newton from 1341 Blackwood Clementon Road. A rare and historic event took place at the last Gloucester Township Council meeting when a proposed ordinance to alter the Gloucester Township Master Plan was disapproved by a 4-3 vote. For better transparency, I would like for each of the 7 council members to give an explanation for their vote. I'm especially interested in Mr. Nash's explanation, as before the ordinance's public hearing took place, he revealed his predetermined no vote when he accidentally voted out of turn prior to the public hearing. Members of council, Mr. Nash, you want to start off?
Sure. I believe that the environmental residential zoning classification should have stayed in place. I used to go fishing there with my father when I was younger, back in the 80s, and I thought it was a nice piece of land, and I didn't think it should have been developed.
That day I spoke with Ms. Corbin, going over the proposed ordinance, and I felt as though it would be good for a commercial building. That was my reason.
I concur with Mr. Mignon for highway commercial. If you're familiar with that site, you have Caliber or Super Wawa. You had a storage facility along that area. I don't think that having residential homes there would be suitable for that area. So that's why I voted yes for a highway commercial.
I just agree that it should be stayed residential as it is.
I agree with Saltis. I thought that it was zoned correctly.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting that they actually allowed that or did that little charade there or whatever you want to say.
Usually they're very protected. So usually President Mercado doesn't allow them to speak.
Yeah, that was, I found that interesting.
Unless they openly want to speak. But usually doesn't give them the, I don't know. It was just weird. I just thought that I didn't think that question was going to go the way that it did. The one interesting one that you probably didn't even hear through the whole thing there was Carolyn Grace Love. Is that her? No comment? Yeah, she just...
her response was no comment. So she did not want to answer that.
Why not comment? I mean, you voted. You had an opinion. That's we elected you to
have the opinion.
To have an opinion.
Yeah.
So have an opinion.
Well, anyway.
No comment says I was told to vote this way, so this is what I'm doing.
Yeah, we can interpret a lot into that. So you would have been better off saying something. Anyway.
There's also houses. There's also houses being built right there on Sicklerville Road. Too. So.
But part of the whole, it's not like this master plan was done 15 years ago. We literally just went over this, and I remember Denise Coyne specifically asking, "Do the residents get any input in the master plan?" And I was like, "Yeah, there'll be we'll allow that," but there never really was any. It just kind of was introduced again. So if you don't agree with the master plan, a month or whatever, it was a couple of months later, how did you approve it, back then? Or I don't know. It's just a weird whole thing. Anyway, let's move on. We had another eGov that was sent in by a So
what happens when you're on call?
There was another question sent in by someone who was in the audience, so they had to read their question during the public portion. And here, we'll play that clip.
I am following up from Denise Coyne, 1060 Choose Lane Road. I'm following up on my previous email sent on November 13th regarding the discussion at the November 13th, 2024 council meeting about continuing services provided by the GTMUA as outlined in my email. I believe the township is obligated to maintain the same level of service as detailed in the statutory requirements of NJSA 40A58-20 and the township's application and testimony to the local finance board. I have not received a response to my inquiry and would appreciate clarification. Specifically, will the township continue to provide the same services that the GTMUA offered as outlined in the dissolution application? If not, please explain to the residents why the township believes it does not have to honor the commitments made in the dissolution application. So we provide sewer service calls 7 days a week, 7:30 to 11:30 p.m., 365 days a year, holidays included. The sewer utility responds to every call. If there's a report of a sewage issue, the sewer utility must respond. The sewer utility will be responsible if the backup was a result of an issue in the street, which is the township's responsibility, and this is not what is causing the owner's issues. It's the same with a private system. We must respond to the call and go out to make sure that the issue is not on our end, a blockage in the street or a broken lateral, etc. So the sewer department is responsible for the sewer lines from the curb to the street. The homeowner is responsible from the curb line to the house, including the clean out at the curb. We had the owners sign a hold harmless agreement. We will try to help. We'll try and help even if the blockage is on their side. If we cannot, we would advise the owner to contact a plumber.
All right, so that clip there, when I originally heard it live, like when I was there, I thought that he was basically saying we're not going to do what we used to do. But then after pulling those clips and listening to it a second time, I feel like he did state basically that we will continue to do, because it never was the responsibility of the MUA to do the cleanouts like back to the house side. They did do those. The town found out about that after the fact of trying to sell it. The application said we're going to continue doing all the services that we did. So, Denise's point in this whole thing was, you don't get to not do that because you didn't know it was happening before. It was happening. Now you know about it. Now you have to continue doing it. So I think that his answer was basically saying that they are going to continue doing that. It's not they're not assuming responsibility for the line to your house. They will come back and try to, clear out any blockages, which is what they have been doing, is what I gathered out.
That's what I took away from it.
Okay.
It wasn't. It's going to continue. I initially thought that we were just going to get punished for.
I thought it as well. Same
was going to happen.
But yeah. So anyway, then we move on to, let's see here. We have a property that was sold recently. Let's see here.
Resolution 2401-027 approved the sale of block 2401, lot 4 at 351 Landing Road through a public auction process. After two unsuccessful attempts, a bid of $1,600,000 was finally received from Fratelli Real Estate Holdings, LLC on April 24th. We were informed that the buyer had a 20-day review period following the acceptance of the bid on June 10th. The issue has not come back before council for any further updates or approvals. Could you please provide an update on the current status of the sale? Has the transaction been completed? Are there any pending matters we should be aware of? Additionally, if the sale does not proceed, what is the next course of action for the property? The issue has been resolved. The township settled with Fratelli Real Estate Holdings on September 19th for $1.6 million. Mountain Construction is no longer on that site. As of today, there are no trucks that are currently on that site, correct, Mr. Cardis? Mr. Carlimer, is there anything else you want to add to that regarding the settlement?
Nope.
Okay.
That went very well.
All right.
Okay. So settlement went very well. The property has been, I guess, closed on, and now that's gone. That's no longer our property. So this was, if you guys recall, a couple months back when this went out to auction, I guess you call it. You know, I forget exactly how it came about, but you know, Denise and I were down at the municipal building finding out, like, wait, there's a building on that property, and you're claiming that it's vacant land. On top of that, it's not vacant. There are people are using it for, you know, Mount Construction had all their trucks all over the, you know, the place there. So I looked up at one point the GIS surveys, like where the property lines and everything are, just to find out where this property was. And one of the things that I noticed with it, it has this big long piece of property, which is the street, and the street access is how all of, you know, our how all the trucks get onto the ecological center thing there. So I don't know if this, can we pull that up there? Yeah, let's see. So yeah, if you can see the outlined in red there, if you see from the bottom left hand corner going all the way up, that's like a road, and right where the first yellow line on the left hand side is there, that's kind of the entrance, like where you can see the dirt. Yeah, right here.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's like where all the trucks go into that ecological center to go dump, and you're like, all right, so now if someone else owns that street or that property, are they going to cut it off kind of where that little T, you know, I don't know what you call that, you know, where that is. And there's all sorts of sea containers lining the sides of that street that look like they're just junk that was back on that property that was pulled off the property, which is behind a fence line. It's just a very strange piece of property there, and I'm just curious how that works now, because that's not a public street. It's a piece of the property. The public owned that because we owned that property before, so I understand how it's, you know what I mean, a public road there. But now, is that a private drive? Are they required to have an easement there that we're now? I don't know. It's just a weird piece of property there. Like why that was part of that.
What was the plan for this property? Do we know yet?
So I forget what he said. Fertoli Real Estate Holdings, whatever it was, that company was tied back to.
Oh, they're part of a trash company too, aren't they?
Yeah, this Solera or Solana. What's the name of
Solterra? Or
Solterra. Yeah, somehow they're tied back, and there was somebody that has the same name as someone that was barred from doing anything with public waste.
In New York,
in New York. Now I don't exactly know what it is, but I don't know what they're doing with it. But they did purchase the property. They're the same, I believe, connected to, or the same company that also now leases the very front of that street where the municipal, like I guess garages used to be. Now they're in operation in there for something. I don't really know what's going on, but the building still says Gloucester Township MUA on the outside of it, even though it's another company leasing that. I don't know.
Oh, odd. Okay.
Who knows? There's so many deals around here, Joe. You don't know what's going on. It's
no, it's just
we just found out for decades that Mount Construction was paying, you know, whatever it was, $1,000 a month for use of 10 acres of property for on a multi-billion-dollar million.
What a deal.
I know, right? I would like to have that. All right. So anyway, moving on. This was I guess an ongoing one here. Let's just play the clip for you.
I did give 2 e-govs previously, and this is the first opportunity I've had to come and talk to you. My concerns originally started with calling the police for people running my kid's school bus. For the last 7 years, I've called, I've sent photos and videos. My concern has not only been for my kids, but for all of the kids. I appreciate when there's an officer out, because mostly people will stop or slow down when there's officers there. I say mostly because they still run the bus stop even with an officer right there. In June of 2023, my car was hit in my driveway while I was in bed. The accident came from Taylor Avenue, and I was left to just clean it up while the other 2 cars were towed away. My 9-year-old is actually who swept up the debris. On November 11th, my house was hit by a truck with me and my mom right in front of the point of impact. I was originally sitting on my couch in my living room, and when I heard the crash, I went to go to the window and said, "Oh no, not again." And as I was going to the window, everything, like the impact, like full force came at me, including my items and the wall. Her car is totaled. My house still has a hole in it. That's how we're going to spend our holidays, with fighting insurance companies. 2 weeks prior to that, there was another accident with a drunk driver right up the street that ended up parked in front of my house, the opposite direction. I called the police as well as the neighbors. Today, there was another accident on Old Black Horse Pike. My newest neighbor that lives next to me has seen 6 accidents in less than 3 years. My first call with an officer after the first EGOV, I was told the speed limit could be lowered. Now I'm told by the county commissioner's office that there's not enough data to make any changes. That I just got late right before 5. I was asking for for everyone to please work together with the county and the township, because the issue seems to be Taylor Avenue as well as the speed limit on Old Black Horse Pike.
All right, so yeah, that was another one I cut down a lot because it went on much. You only get 5 minutes during that portion, and her entire, like, with back and forth with the council, it was well over that. I understand, she has a concern. It's a little different than someone going up there and asking for braille. They'd be like, "Hey, your 5 minutes is up." Woman had a car come through her house. At the same time, I'm not exactly sure what council's supposed to do about.
Yeah, because
it's a weird situation there.
It's a clear 40-mile-an-hour street. It's a lot of it's like a lot of other 40-mile-an-hour streets throughout the entire area. It reminds me of like the Turnersville Road's 40 mile an hour. It's got residential on both sides of it. There's not a whole lot I think you can do. Like they said, there's not enough data for accidents to make it. She wants to make it a 25.
Yeah, and that's what they were saying. The accidents that she's talking about and the accidents that are on record there, the causes of those accidents was not speed. It's like speed didn't play a factor. It was like, a distracted driver or whatever the case was, it wasn't that. And then as far as kind of like I feel like that's where ordinances come in, where like zoning or not, I don't know, it's like, okay, your setback for your shed has to be 10 feet away from the property. Whatever the thing is, I think a house being built, whatever it was, probably 80 years ago or something like that. It was a different time. There weren't as many cars on the road going as fast as they are now. So your house is probably, from what I know, the house we're talking about, it's probably maybe like 15, 20 feet off of the road. So you have a higher chance of that. Maybe now a new house wouldn't be allowed to be built that close to there, but there's nothing like nobody can pick your house up and backset it, and it's kind of grandfathered into that. So I think there are things that can be done, and I feel like they are trying to help her and work around with some of those things, but there's not really much you can do about where a house is built.
The chief he spent a decent amount of time there.
Oh yeah.
Looking at it with engineers. I think, and her argument was, if you lower the speed, it gives people more time to react to, like, I guess she's right at the corner there where Taylor Ave is, and I guess I'm guessing the cars that ended up hitting her car and one through her, or maybe because somebody pulled out on Taylor Ave into Old Black Horse Pike and they wound up that way.
Right.
It would give somebody more time to react, but it's like there's just not enough data there for that argument. But at the same time, also, like when I moved back to this area, I found 2 really nice houses that were just built on a this is what sucks about being on call. I found 2 really nice houses that were on Aerial Road. And they, as much as I liked them, I didn't want a house on a main road.
Right.
It's noisy, it's dangerous. It's just one of the things that you sign up for when you move into a house.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get it. I understand. It's moving's not an option for her. She had mentioned, and there was a lot of stuff that we had cut out in the sake of time. But the chief was very responsive to her, and I know that they are putting more police officers out there to monitor that area. They talked about some of the things that have worked in other sections of town where they put up the flashing lights where it's like, okay, your speed is X and the speed limit is this, and it flashes. So it kind of gives a warning to people. and helps them self monitor. Like, oh, if there were a cop here now, that's what my speed would be, and I'd be getting a ticket. So maybe I should slow down. So kind of like a self governing type of things. But he brought up a bunch of things that they're trying to help her with. So hopefully that does give her some peace of mind, and she can rest easy at night. The mayor, he's in the hand.
I have to tell you, I sleep well at night.
Nobody's crashing through his living room.
She does not.
She doesn't sleep in it anymore. He's
But yeah. So then we had.
if we only sold the sewer, we could have built a wall in front of our house.
Yeah. All right. So then we have. This was another interesting one here.
I'd like to bring to attention New Jersey statute number 3823-1. This statute is a bill that addresses public employees or public employment, specifically public employee who is also a member of a military organization. 3823-1 is specific to the reserves, so federal entity of the military reserves. Federal side, reservist that allocates 30 days any public employment throughout the community. This statute is mandatory by the state of New Jersey. It's mandatory for these organizations to have policies that outline this for their employees. Just so that everyone's clear, I am an active reservist. I have, as of February, I have 16 years total service in the Army, 4 years active duty, and I'm going on 15 with the reserves. I am also a public employee within Gloucester Township. These benefits have not been afforded to me in the 8 years that I have been employed. The issue I have is that for the last 8 years, I have questioned these. I stand in front of you today in a position that I am on short-term disability. And why is that? That's because I've had to utilize 8 years worth of vacation and sick time that I have not been able to bank, that is afforded to me for especially these situations, to where I was using that for military time that I should have had 30 days annually to not use that time, that I can bank that time for these cases now.
So yeah, it's an interesting point he's bringing up there, and I believe Jason is referring. I think he's a paid firefighter or something.
Paid firefighter over at Ariel, which I remember.
So council that kind of responded back like, well, we don't set the rules for the fire. Each fire department or district or whatever is their own separate thing, so they need to have those rules.
Yeah.
But his point was like, hey, it starts at the top. So like, do you guys have it here with the municipal? Is it part of public works? Like, he's going through and making sure that other people, from what I gathered from this, I think he's making sure other people are also afforded these same rights that they have as a public employee if they're out serving the country.
So it's a state thing, and basically when he has to do anything that makes him miss work for
military,
for military related, he has to use a sick time. So when he actually is, and he just had an issue there where he needs to, he's out of work. And he doesn't have it now because he's used his time up with military use, and it's a state requirement,
right?
And I guess they're giving him a hard time for it. But what he's saying is, if we do this locally and Gloucester Township adopts this and says this is our policy, which it should be because it's a state thing,
right?
But if they flat out put it out and say this is our policy, this is what we have to do, then he stands a better chance of getting what he deserves with the fire department. So
yeah. So anyway, again, just to be clear, that wasn't it's not the council's, like, we don't know if the council or I should say the administration in the township departments have that role, because we don't know that. He's bringing up that his particular fire department didn't. So we don't know if the town employees do have that.
We do know that.
Actually, I think the chief said that they do honor that for like the police.
Yes, he did.
So he did say that. And I didn't pull that part.
But I guess he said that there wasn't anything that they had written in specifically for Gloucester Township to allow that.
Oh,
they just do it like that. That's what they do. But
right.
So I guess he's. But you know what? Our township and the leaders in our township have influence over the folks in the fire departments.
Well, that's what Jason's point was. In this
That's
whole
yeah,
thing,
and this we've touched on this briefly throughout the years that there are some folks in charge of fire departments that may be kind of in with the club.
Yes.
Right. So if he's speaking to the right
the heads of the club,
to the right group, to the heads of the club here, saying, hey, can you kind of make a club change here for us so that the some of the people that deserve this actually get it. So that's two things. I mean, two things people are passionate about. They're passionate about first responders.
Yep.
Passionate about military. It seems like a no-brainer here to make sure that this isn't an issue for people that are serving.
Yeah, I can't imagine why it would be, but apparently we are here, and he said he corrected himself in there. I had to cut his clip down too. It was all kind of, it would have been very long, but he in there said, I forget what I was even saying that he said in there, but
I don't know.
I don't remember. Either way. Oh yeah, no, he said I've been fighting with my thing. He's like, actually, let me stop. I'm not using the word fighting.
Okay,
I'm bringing up a point, or but anyway. Speaking of fighting, here's Iro's going up there a little hot during his question. He had an Opra request that was not fulfilled.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
Ira Eckstein, Glen Oaks. About 2 weeks ago, I submitted an Opra request. And I was told today that they need an extension. I'm trying to find out why. The Opra request is basic. It's nothing out of the ordinary. I'm trying to find out why it's not being handled in a timely manner.
Okay, so those Opra requests don't go to council. I can't speak on that. The clerk or Mr. Carl American can speak on that.
I'm not familiar with what. Was there one that came in?
Yes, there was. Mr. Eckstein put in a request referencing the metal benches that are throughout the township. In reference to the cost of those, installation, the concrete pad, how many were ordered, how many are left, the overall price, what account it comes out of. There were 9 items in total. So Bob Morris from Public Works is on vacation, so I've not received a response from him as of yet. A couple of the items were questioned as questions, not information that we have. So this afternoon, Bill Fagan did send over some information that was very helpful as far as the number of benches, how many are left, the price, the account it came out of, and that it is a capital item. So I'm still waiting on a few more things, and the approximate date of completion is Tuesday, and Mr. Eckstein was cooperative with that this afternoon. So I'm still waiting on some of the information to have that complete.
And I do have some information on that. I have been speaking with Public Works, and I've looked at Mr. Eckstein's questions. There were 9 listed. There were 10 because you had 3 twice on here. So the last time that we bought benches was in March of 2023. We purchased 20 benches at that time.
Hold on, Tom. Do you want this information now, or you want it in a response to the Opra?
Well, there's a.
No, I'm asking Mr. Eckstein. Do you want this information?
I'll wait.
You'll wait. You'd rather have it in writing? Okay.
Probably more appropriate.
Yes.
Yeah, it's an interesting exchange there at the end.
Tom can't answer a question without if you've annoyed him before.
Oh
he's
yeah,
always going to answer it like Tom answers questions.
Yeah, like a total. I'm not going to use the word, but
what's any idea what I was trying to?
There's 9 questions, but 10 actually because you used 3 twice. Okay, well, who cares how many? No one questioned how many questions there were. He just wants to know why didn't it get answered. I don't care if it was 1 or it was 12. Like, what the hell's the difference? You didn't answer any. You answered 0. So that's what he's asking.
Maybe he asked 1 3 times because he figured the first 2 times he wasn't getting an answer.
Yeah. Well, I think we like numbered them like 1, 2, 3, 3. Like,
Oh, okay.
I think that's what he said. Either way, how did you go? Why did you count it? I don't know. Either way. The one comment that Orlando had made early on in there was he said, Opras don't come to council, so I'm going to have to defer to someone else, which I found funny because
he's known every request.
Yeah, any Opra request you send in, somehow he knows about them. So do they go to council? Like, how does he know about them? But now the one time when he's being questioned by Ira about this, he's going to say, I don't, we don't get those. So, you know. It was just, that was funny.
It's been made a point before that he knows about the Opras that come in.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if whoever gets the Opras just sends them to him.
If it automatically goes, yeah.
Or if he has access to get them, but he usually always knows.
He's in the know, yeah. So it's either forwarded on, or it's just certain people's, or who knows what it is. But I did find it interesting exchange at the end there where Orlando cuts off Tom Cardis from answering him because he's like, "This is like, why are you giving him?" The guy sent an Opra request and respond to it. Why are you responding to it now? Like,
even
you know
Orlando's tired of hearing from him.
Right. It was like it was. You could tell there was a little bit of like annoyance there, and it's not the first time I've seen annoyance from Orlando towards Tom Cardis in this. You know, up on that dais there.
After a while, man, like at first you're like, all right, Beetlejuice has his role, but then you're like, I'm tired of seeing Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. All right. So that one, then, LecternGate. Everyone ready for LecternGate? It continues. Here's another one here. So if you guys haven't played along here or followed along, the lectern that was in the council chambers there was taken away by Tom Cardis. He's the one. He said, "I took it away. I hid it away from you." Actually, speaking of following along, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel here.
Oh yeah, Tom Cardis does.
Yeah, Tom Cardis does.
He likes it. He likes it a lot.
Yep. So you can check us out on Facebook, on YouTube, on our website at gtobserver.com, and just make sure you stay up to date with everything we're doing here. We are making an impact, whether you want to know it or not.
We are. People come up to us and tell us you're definitely changing some things here. So glad to hear that. That's what it's all about.
Yep.
This is
and maybe we can get to the bottom of LecternGate.
I
think that's a huge accomplishment if we can get to the bottom of that one.
We should.
I did send in an open request recently about that LecternGate. I want to know, when did we purchase that? How much? Who put the purchase order together? And then I asked for emails, out of this just to see, was it sent to an email to ask to get rid of this thing?
we got to get a lectern on wheels. And
I have a lectern. I just got to put it.
GT Observers, the People's Lectern.
Yeah, there you go.
And then we just
donate
we wheel it in, lights on it. Yeah. Yes. Started that. That's a lights and everything. The People's Lectern.
We decorate for different holidays and stuff. All right. Well, here we go. So this is because there's no lectern there, and Dave Leader has gone up there before. I slipped and called him David, but I know he likes to be
he's
called
gonna
Dave.
message us now.
But yeah, Dave likes to have something to be able to put his things on. So they've told him, use the table. So you saw in the earlier clip where he sat down at the table. Yeah. So he did it again. And here we go. Sits down.
Talk about questions about the budget process. These are all related to the budget. When is the end of the fiscal year?
Scars.
I'm sorry.
End of the fiscal year.
You rolled over there. I couldn't hear your question.
Oh, man.
So the one time he sits down where they told him to sit, he goes, I can't hear you. You're all the way over there. Well, hey, Dick, if you would have not thrown my lectern in the dumpster, maybe I could stand at the microphone. I don't know. I mean, just thinking here.
There's gotta be enough people over there in that building that go, I don't know. We just don't like this guy. Like, maybe the guy in charge over here, the head of administration, maybe we don't like this guy, and let's find somebody that doesn't do petty stuff like taking the lectern away. Because
from how old is Dave said he is? 70-year-old? Like from a 70-year-old man, you're going to take the lectern away? Really?
Yeah, you're going to take it away so that he can't just place his papers on there and read them. Plus, it's also, I mean, like I said before, it is something that is everywhere. Look
Yeah.
at council meetings everywhere. Just look at council meetings everywhere.
It's a sense of security. It's some kind of a protection.
It is. You can stand behind something. You got a mic there. They are up there. They're protected up there, sitting down behind things. They have this.
Yeah.
They're above you. So put a lectern there. It gives a sense of comfort.
Yeah.
It's
just so stupid.
It's
Why?
such a petty thing that it was taken out of there, and it's a combination of people that do not want that there. It's not all on Tom Cardis. It's a combination of people that don't want that there. So,
yeah. But anyway, so we're not going to pull them all here. Dave asks a bunch of questions around the budget, and I really wish that there was a camera. I should talk to Ray Paldor because he has his own camera. I don't know what he's recording back there. I don't think anybody's ever seen any of his footage that he does. It might even record. But if you can zoom in on Tom Cardis' face and just the smug look that he's given Dave as he's asking these questions around the budget, just like, who do you think you are questioning me, my budget? It's just you can't see it in these videos because they're so small. But if you go and just look, I mean, he has such disdain for people asking any questions around anything that happens up there. It's, to me, sickening.
We're gonna have to buy.
I'll bring a camera.
We should buy a bigger lens
so
we can zoom.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that we just have Cardis cam.
Yeah, the Cardis cam. Yeah, that'd be great.
Cardis cam. We just see his face the entire time.
That would be great.
It's an hour and a half meeting of just Cardis.
Yeah. Here we go. So now we move. Dave goes on to, this question here, it was a couple of years ago. We did a podcast about the organizational chart, how we are not even on it. The residents don't even appear on the chart. So at some point, Dave got a hold of this topic and was asking him about it, and they still haven't updated the organizational chart. So he asks, and let's see how the response goes. Oh. Is it working? It's not working? Let's go back here. It may not. Something's off with it. All right, clip is off here, but basically what happened was he asks, and Orlando says that's an administrative thing, so that's going to be on Tom Cardis and the administration would have to do that. And Tom's response back was that a lawyer needs to do that. I'm like, wait, what? So you're not allowed to do an organizational chart without the lawyer? Why would we need to pay a lawyer to put an organizational chart together for us? It literally, the one that we have, I just would be popping it up on you to pull this off. If we pull up the organizational chart that we had in the past, it's like the mayor, council, like it doesn't have people's names on it, and it's like, okay, here, Public Works falls under this person here. But it's not name charts and everything. But why would an attorney need to have that out? Or is it just an excuse? Or is it just another reason to pay one of our pay-to-play, vendors? Yeah, nobody here can do an organizational chart. But
yeah, we got to pay. Well, yeah, we definitely have to pay somebody extra to do that.
Yeah.
So it's plus Tom can't stomach sitting there putting the people at the top. That would just make that would make him sick. I'm sure that would make him sick.
He'd be throwing up in his mouth there. But anyway, all right. Well, we don't have the organizational chart here, do you? Or
nah, I got Gloucester Township public schools. It would be
but either way. So that was pretty much it. It wasn't a very long meeting, so it's not a very long podcast. So you guys got off easy this week.
Wait, we're under an hour.
I know. I'm trying to wrap it up so we don't go to
Man, we could play clips for.
No,
we'll just play funny clips for the next 15 minutes. That way we don't ruin our tradition of going over an hour long.
Yeah, right. Going over an hour. Yeah, there's here you go. Here's one.
But the fire departments have the mapping program.
She was not in attendance. She did email in.
She did have 2 egos.
She had some egos in. She's still not happy about the weed shops, man. She is
Yeah. Well, look, that's her thing. She's
That's her
allowed
thing.
to.
She does not like the weed shops. That's.
But yeah, that's pretty much it.
We could call Sam. Sam will come over and turn this into a 12-hour.
Nah, let's wrap it up.
Let's get out of here before Sam finds out we're wrong.
Yeah, we're recorded. All right, folks, we will catch you soon. Thanks for tuning in.
Yep. See you in a week or two, folks.
All right.
That's it.
End show.
That's that one.